Hey guys, this is your homework help video for systems of inequalities. All right, let's get started. I'm going to try to color code this to keep it simple. Today's lesson was, what does a solution to a system of inequalities look like? A solution to a system is the overlapping shaded region. I think it's supposed to be overlapping region, but I added another space, overlapping shaded region. So what we're looking for today is when we shade one inequality and when we shade the next inequality, where do the colors blend? That is our solution region. Okay, let's start off with example 2. Let's do one. Let's do them all. Here we go. X plus y greater than -1. Is this solved for y? Is y all by itself on the left side? Let me cover that up. Is y all by itself on the left side? Absolutely not. It is not by itself, so we need to do some solving for y work. How about this bottom inequality? Is y all by itself, all alone, naked over here? No, it's not, so we need to do some solving for y work there as well. Notice I did not provide you enough space here on the left to do a whole lot of solving for y work. I guess you could stack it, but you could also just write on the back. So we're going to copy all the problems on the back. As you can see, I did problem 1, problem 2, 3, 4, and then I split them up. I split both inequalities, so that I could show my work better and not get lost, because I have some note taking to do as well. Okay, so front, back. All right, so let's get to the nice thing about this is that I have 2 copies, so I can put it side by side. All right, let's start. Problem 1. We're going to solve for y right here. Grab it, grab the x term, jump it, change the sign. Here, let me make sure you know that this is the left side and this is the right side. Grab the x term, jump it across, change the sign. Used to be positive, now it's negative. So we're going to put negative x. Now what's the coefficient of x? Which coefficient is generally invisible? It is the 1, coefficient of 1. So let's put that down. Now let's regroup. Make sure we know what we're looking at. Is my y all by itself now? Nothing around it, nothing attached to it? Yes, it is. So we are now in y equals mx plus b form. My mx and my b are reversed. Is that okay with you? As long as you know it's attached to the x, that's your slope, that's your m. So let's go ahead and figure out what we've got now. What is my m? It is the number attached to x. It is the coefficient of x. So that will be -1. Now I really need my slope to tell me rise over run. And I don't have an overrun number. And when I don't have a fraction for my slope, I can easily turn it into a fraction by putting it over 1. -1 divided by 1 is still technically -1. However, it looks like a fraction, so I'm happy. The -1 tells me to go down 1. And the bottom number tells me to run 1. We always run to the right. So if you want to put right 1, you can. Okay, my B number, so we know which direction to go in, but where do we start? That's what my B number tells me. It tells me where to start. Begin at B. Begin at B. So what is my B value? Unfortunately, in this example, they are identical. It's a -1 and a -1. So, but still, you know the M is this number right here, attached to the X, and the B is this number right here. Okay, so it's the lonely number. It's the constant all by itself. Okay, it is -1. And what does B tell us? It's where to begin on the y-axis. It's always 0, B. B is always on the y-axis, so you can always put a 0 in front. All right, now let's discuss the symbol. The inequality symbol we're working with is that. Okay, and we know that these symbols here, without the or equal to underneath, create a dotted line. These symbols here, with the or equal to, create a solid line. Just remember that if you have a line underneath your symbol, you're going to draw a line through your points, okay? That's an easy way to remember it. Then we have to not only decide if it's dotted or solid, we also have to decide if we're shading above or below. And above is just greater than, and below is just less than. So greater than, less than. And if you can make it with your left hand, if you can make it with the symbol with your left hand, then it's a less than. Okay? If you can make the symbol with your left hand, then it's a less than. Okay, so now we know. This is going to be a greater than, so it's above, shade above, and this is going to be as well a dotted line. So I'm going to write dotted and above. Okay? Moving on to the right side. In fact, let's go ahead and graph that so we don't get all confused trying to do two things at once. So my purple line, I'm going to graph it. Here we are. I have all my stats right next to me so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, we begin at -1 on the y-axis right here. And then we move down one, right one, down one, right one, down one, right one. And you do that till you're bored, tired, or run out of room. This is going to be a dotted line, and I do want nice point. I'm going to back it up and reverse it. How do you back it up and reverse it? What's the pattern backwards? Up, okay, up one, left one. That's the pattern backwards. Okay, there's my dotted line. Okay, I'm also going to shade above. Now above means this line cut my whole coordinate plane. Like I could cut it with scissors and have two pieces of a coordinate plane. Which piece are you going to shade? The piece with the higher values on the y-axis. The piece with the going up portion of the y-axis, because it's above, okay? So this is the piece we are about to shade. We don't want to do the negative portion of the y-axis because that's below, okay? Those are lower numbers. These are higher y values, so shade above. So my purple graph is done. Moving over to my turquoise graph, okay? So I will do this in two colors of ink so you can see what we're doing. Let's solve this for y. Grab it, jump it, change the sign. I do like that. Once again, we have the same issue, a minus x with no coefficient. What do we add there? A 1, okay? In fact, what do we add here? A 1. Don't forget that negative. Bring it down, bring it down. People like to ignore it. Bring it down. And then we're going to divide, divide, divide by the coefficient of y. We always grab the x, jump it, change the sign, divide, divide, divide. Okay, so wait a minute. Did I just divide by a negative number? Did I just divide, divide, divide by a negative number? I sure did. What do I have to do to my inequality symbol? I flip it. So 5 divided by a -1. -1 divided by -1 is +1. Don't forget to slap an X on it. Okay, now, once again, we'll run through them. M is the number attached to X. What is M? 1. Oh, it's not a fraction. What do I do? Over 1. Boom. That means it's a positive number this time. It was a negative number before we went down. If it's a positive number, what do? Go up 1. And we still go right 1 on the bottom. My B value. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong problem. My B value is what? -5. There's only 2 actual digits that we're working with. We're working with the slope, which is the number attached to X, the coefficient of X, and we're dealing with the y-intercept, which is the other guy. Okay, there's only 2, so you can't get it wrong. This is going to be the point 0, 0, B, because it is a y-intercept. It needs to be on the y-axis. Now let's discuss this new symbol. Remember, we flipped it. Don't go back to the original. We flipped it. So my new symbol, tell me about it. Let's use our little quick guide. New symbol. What does my new symbol look like? Okay, so that's going to be a less than, because I can make it with my left hand. Okay, so it's a below, shade below. And does it have a line under it? No, so it's dotted. So below and dotted is what I'm going to write. Below and dotted. Now I have everything I need to know to graph this successfully. So let's do it. Here we go. Begin at -5 on the y-axis. -1, 2, 3, 4, -5. From there, we go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and we keep on going. Is this going to be a dotted line? Yes. So we can just keep the pattern going. If I'm going too fast for you, just pause it. Make your dots. All right, now, ooh, I forgot to put the arrows on my, remember, lines go forever. Put the arrows at the ends, okay? And where am I going to shade? Below. So remember, we want to make sure we're shading the lower part of the y-axis, not the higher part of the y-axis, because this is a shade below type graph. Do you see where the two colors blend? That is your solution region. I'm clearly not going to be able to do example 2 with you because I wrote all over it. Okay, that's fine. Solution region. Any point in this region is going to be part of your solutions set, okay? And remember, just because we only graphed it on a 10 by 10 coordinate plane does not mean that this is where it stops. This goes forever and ever and ever, expanding and expanding and expanding. My solution region goes out to infinity on the x-axis. So, your job is to give me any point you can see or use your imagination to think of that could be an example of a solution for us. I think I'm going to pick, since it's going like this forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, I think I'm going to pick 100, 0, because I definitely know that anything on this x-axis from here on out is going to be a solution. But okay, a more realistic one that we can see with our eyeballs. I don't know, let's pick this point right here. What is it? That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the x-axis. And let me write that down because I have a bad memory. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the x-axis and down 3. Down 3. So that's -3. Okay, remember, this is my positive y-axis, my negative y-axis, my positive x-axis, and my negative x-axis. And if you need to put these little cheats on your graph every single time, please do it. It helps. So once again, any point inside this solution region is a solution. One more point I'd like to make. Do you remember when we first introduced linear inequalities, we were discussing on the line or on the dotted line and on the solid line? So notice this is 2 dotted lines. Is that part of my solution set? The answer is no. Dotted lines out of bounds. Okay, dotted lines are out of bounds. So if it ends up on either of these lines, it is not a solution. Is this a solution? No. 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 The only solution is a point in my overlapping double shaded 2-color region. Okay, let's move on to one last example. One last example. Let's do, we can do problem 4. We can do problem 4. Okay, problem 4. Problem 4 is nice because look, I've got a, hey, we have to solve for y. What happened to y? What the vucks? Yes, it is a Vux equation. There's no y to solve for. It's a Vux. I'm sorry, inequality, not an equation. Okay, so there's really no calculations to do whatsoever. I know that I'm going to have a vertical line at -4 on the x-axis. And then we can discuss this inequality symbol. This tells me that it's dotted, and I can make it with my left hand. So that's a less than, so it's below. Okay, so Vux at -4, dotted below. Well, I should have made that in purple. Here we go. Vux at -4, -1, 2, 3, 4. Dotted and be, oh my goodness, how am I going to go below a vertical line? I can't go below a vertical line. So you're going to treat this like those number line problems that we used to do. I can only go left or right. Which way am I going to go? Well, you turn this guy. Okay, let's do it on this one. You turn this guy into an arrow, and he'll tell you which way to shade. Which way is this arrow pointing? To the left. So we're going to shade to the left. That only works for Vux equations and inequalities. Okay? This next one is a regular XY standard type where we got to grab it, jump it, change the sign. I can do that very quickly if you'd like me to. Grab it, jump it. Used to be positive 3x, now it's negative 3x. Divide, divide, divide. Don't forget to ask yourself, did I divide 3 times by a negative number? No, I do not flip. Divide, divide. This is going to be solid because it's underlined. I can make it with my left hand, so it's a less than, so below. Okay, and my slope, down 3, right 2, and my b value is -1, which means my first point is here. Go ahead and pause the video and try to graph that. All right, moving on. Let's do a freebie for your homework. For those of you who are watching this and trying to do their homework, let's do number 5. Let's do number 5. Here we go. 4x, grab it, jump it, change the sign. Okay, -35 minus 4x, divide, divide, divide. We are dividing by what kind of number? So flip it. This is a negative number. Why do we flip it? When we divide 3 times by a negative number, we flip it. This will make +7. This will make +4/5. Slap an X on it. In your calculator, don't forget how you're doing these. You're doing -4 divided by -5. Math, enter, enter. That gives you +4/5. And then you put an X on it. Please don't try to type that X into your calculator. Watch, it will mess you up. -4x divided by -5. Oh boy, okay? Never type that X into your calculator's home screen. It only goes into our function screen. All right, now, M, 4/5. B, 7. What does my symbol mean? It means shade below because I can make it with my left hand. And it means solid because it's been underlined. Okay, let's go ahead and graph that. Problem 5. Okay, here we are, problem 5. Begin at 7, begin at 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the y-axis. My slope tells me to go up 4 and right 5. So let's do that. Up 1, 2, 3, 4 and right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a lot of people were stressed out today because it went off the graph, went off the coordinate plane. Well, just back it up and reverse it and memorize that pattern and keep it going. Okay, we know it's gonna go like this, right? So if we back it up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. 5 to the left, 4 down. Let's do it again. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 5 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see how that works? And if you count it back, it'll work. Up 4 over 5, up 4 over 5, up 4 over 5. Okay? So that's what's going to happen every time you run out of room on your coordinate plane. And now that is solid, and we are graphing below. We are shading below. Okay, and then the second half of this problem. Grab it, jump it, change the sign. Put your invisible one in there. Hey, we're already done. Y is already all alone, naked and afraid. Here we go. M is the number attached to X. That is a -1. Oh, it's not a fraction. Now it is. This means down 1, right 1. What's my B value? The only other digit that we're working with? -2. Okay, we're going to begin there on the y-axis. Then, what does our symbol mean? It is not underlined, so it's dotted. I cannot make it with my left hand, so it must be a greater than. So we're going to shade above. Okay, so let's go. We're beginning at -2, going down 1, right 1. Beginning at -2, going down 1, right 1. Beginning at -2, going down 1, right 1. And I can tell I'm going to go this way all day long and not get anywhere. So let me, like I taught you earlier, let me back the pattern up and reverse it and just go backwards because I have a better chance of overlapping going this way. Okay, and I'm going to shade where? Don't forget your arrows. Okay, where am I shading? I am shading dotted and above, shading above. So make sure, once again, let's make sure the half of the coordinate, because you cut it, 2 pieces. The piece with the higher part of the y-axis must get shaded. That is this piece right here. So do we see our overlapping region? We should. And just so Miss Collins can see your overlapping region, please darken that for me. Go back over it with both of your colors. Make sure it's nice and lovely. And don't forget to give me at least one example solution. Hey, I think I'm gonna pick 0, 0 on this one. Okay? Good luck completing the rest of your homework assignment.